President Obama reportedly having words with Arizona Governor Jan Brewer, since been confirmed, over comments on him in her book about immigration. But this wasn't the first time the president had choice words with a leader that happened to be Republican on a tarmac in their state. Back in 2010, Governor Bobby Jindal got an earful from the president as well during the BP crisis. He joins us right now. Governor, when you saw Governor Brewer go at it with the president, did you think that happened to me?
I did, Brian. It brought back memories. It seems hard to believe it was almost 2 years ago. Here was the strange thing. It was the president's first visit after the oil spill. We were on the tarmac. He comes down there, obviously staged. They had already tipped off the Washington press corps to watch this interaction, grabs him by the arm, takes me aside. And here's the strange thing. I didn't mind him being angry. I thought he'd be angry about the oil spill, the lack of resources. I thought he'd get down there and say, look, Governor, we're going to do everything we can to work together. Instead, he was mad that he was going to look bad. He was worried about some routine letter we had already sent his administration. Nothing important, something to the Department of Agriculture. I was amazed by two things. One, that he was mad about the wrong things, and secondly, that he was so thin-skinned. It was clearly a media stunt, clearly a political stunt. They had tipped off a couple of Washington reporters to watch this interaction, to get this picture. It was disappointing. I wanted him to be the president of the country, to come down here and lead. Instead, he was playing political theatrics.
And you said a week and a half later, when you started coming forward and saying the federal government's leaving us out to dry, he didn't like that either, so it only got worse. Having said that, being a Republican like you are, and being that your interaction wasn't too positive, and that you were supporting Governor Perry at one point, who are you going to support now?
Well, look, I'm staying out of the primary. The reason I supported Rick, he's got a great job record creation in the state of Texas. He and Texans were very, very good to the state of Louisiana after Hurricanes Gustav and Ike. Here's the important thing. You know, this election, this upcoming general election, is not about competing personalities or debates. It's about two very different visions for our country. Under President Obama, every year we've had trillion-dollar-plus deficits, $15 trillion of accumulated debt. He has grown the federal government to 24% of GDP, taking over bank companies, taking over car companies, not wanting to take over part of our health care system. He is on a path towards more taxes, more borrowing, more spending. You contrast that, we're going to have a Republican candidate who is serious about shrinking the size of government, shrinking these debts, cutting taxes, growing the private sector economy. You couldn't have a more different contrast between the two different governing philosophies. So this is going to be an intensely fought election about the future of America.
Right, but right now you're focused on the future of Louisiana, and one of the things you have to do is get the teachers' unions, rein them in order to balance your budget. Where are you at with that?
Brian, it was amazing to me. We proposed a comprehensive set of reforms to improve education in Louisiana. Everything from making sure that only good teachers get tenure to making sure that we give real choice to our kids so they're not trapped in failing schools. What is so offensive to me is one of these union officials, the executive director of our teachers union, came out a week ago today and said that poor parents have no clue. I'm literally quoting, poor parents have no clue when it comes to making decisions for their kids, educational decisions for their kids. That is incredibly offensive. I met with some moms the very next day who tell me that, look, they make choices for their children every day. They know what's best for their child, their children, especially better than some bureaucrat in Baton Rouge or Washington, D.C. This is the problem with the union attitude. They think they know better than parents what's right for these parents' children. Think about if a Republican, if a conservative had said that a week ago, the media, the White House would be attacking that Republican. It's amazing that a union official can get away with saying that poor parents have no clue. We're proposing to allow those same parents, if their kids are trapped in failing public schools, to take those dollars that are being spent on their kids, go to a private school, go to a parochial school, spend those dollars on online courses to get an education. We've got great public schools in Louisiana, but we've got to do better for every child. Our children only grow up once. It's offensive to me that these unions don't get it. It's about our children.
Right, and it's amazing. A Democratic governor can make much more progress, it seems, with the unions than a Republican governor, even if you have the same exact thing to say. Like here in New York, Cuomo's trying to do the same thing. Governor, good luck in this fight. It concerns everybody. We'll all be watching. Thanks so much for getting up with us this morning.
Great to see you, Brian. Thank you. All right.